So hello to all and welcome back to my channel. If you've watched my last video, you got to see me starting out on my trip this past weekend, going to Arlington. So I'm back at home now. It's I think been a couple of days since I made that first video, and the funeral was actually yesterday, and I just got back driving about 10 hours today from Arlington. Well, the DC area is where I stayed at. Thankfully I had another chaplain candidate that was up in DC that I can't remember. I was like trying to go through my brain of like if I asked him if I could stay with him or if he offered, but knowing him, he probably offered. So I thankfully got to stay with him a couple nights. And it was actually, it was really nice because I got to meet his fiance and learn about her, and they're about to get married soon. So I got to just talk to him about that, and it was really nice just being in their presence and learning about them. And he's actually in my endorsement too, so it's just nice to, because people in my endorsement for chaplains, they're like my family. So I hadn't seen Matt in about 2 years. So it was, and that was before I was even accepted in as a candidate. So that was all just like meeting, but he has been a very, very close friend ever since I've met him. And of course he would be just open arms to me coming and spending some time. And just anything that I needed, they helped me out with. So they were awesome, and I kind of told him, he did come with me to the funeral yesterday, and I told him, I was like, here's the thing, like I don't know what my mental state and emotional state is gonna be like, so let's plan for things before the funeral, and then let's plan for things after the funeral. Because I just know that if you allow me to be alone, I can't promise my emotional stability. And so he was like, that's fine, that's totally okay. So we actually in the morning time, we went and walked around Arlington. I got to visit the gravesite of one of my friends from school, so that was really nice. And then because I didn't get to go to his funeral last year because I was at COT. And then we went to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and got to see them changing of the guards, which was really cool. And then we also got to go visit the senior chaplain at Arlington right now is actually in our endorsement, and he is phenomenal, like, oh, so amazing. And so we got to go visit him beforehand, and he actually ended up doing the funeral service for my friend, which I think again was just like the grace of God. Every time I start crying, my cat comes to me. But it was the grace of God. But it was so cool. Like this is the first time I had met that chaplain, and I've only ever met him on Skype, and I already knew like just how amazing of a man he was, just by a little bit of communication. And he was awesome. We were supposed to go visit him afterwards, but there was a reception afterwards, so I picked that over seeing him because I wanted to go talk with the family and everything. But it was, so inside the administration building where you line up for the processional, it's like white marble everywhere, and downstairs the whole stairs are marble, and downstairs are where the chaplains are. So we went down there asking for where he was at. And we got down there and talked to him a little bit, not for too long though, because he had to get changed into his uniform. And so we're standing at the top of the stairs, just waiting for everything to start, and you just start hearing this like clinging noise, like clinging noise, like someone's walking. And I was like, what is that noise? Like that sounds awesome, like what is happening? And up walks the chaplain, and it was like the room almost just like everybody just stopped to look at this chaplain, and he had like ribbons galore on him, and he looked so sharp, and he's a lieutenant colonel. Yeah, he's a lieutenant colonel, but his presence demanded attention, and it was just like me and the other candidate were just in awe of watching this chaplain walk up these stairs. And it was so beautiful. And I was confused a little bit because normally you wouldn't wear all of those ribbons and everything. So I asked Matt about it, and he said that because he is a chaplain at Arlington, he wears the honor guard uniform. So I was like, that makes sense, because he had like a stripe down his pants and he had an honor guard badge on, so, or tab on. But that's why he wore all of his awards and things like that. So it was just, it was amazing. Even afterwards, me and Matt were talking about like how amazing watching him walk up those stairs were. But it was beautiful that, and I told the family too that like I personally know the chaplain. So that's nice, because I don't know, it's nice that they had some connection there. And so that's what we did before. And then for fun things to help fill my brain up after the service, we went to dinner, and we actually didn't eat all day long, so it was like 7 o'clock at night, and we're like, we have got to go eat food. So we went and got dinner, and then we actually toured around downtown, and it was amazing. Like, we went and saw the Air Force Memorial, which is these like shooting up structure things. It was awesome. And then you can see all of DC from there, like all the monuments. I just had no clue about any of this. So we saw, went by the White House, saw Washington Memorial, we saw Lincoln from afar. That was really cool. And I was just like, the whole time I was like, okay, God, like I have prayed for this weekend for a couple months now, and just prayed that your goodness will shine through all of this, and that you'll remind me of how good you are during all of this. So like all the stuff that we did beforehand and afterwards, I was like, this is God being good. This is God being good. Because I really didn't want to avoid anything. I didn't want to avoid my feelings or my emotions. But I had to constantly remind myself that it's been about 3 or so months since my friend's passing. So I had to remind myself that the time of no eating, and the time of just like laying in bed all day long, and the time of just hysterically crying, like that time has already passed. And I can't go back to that area again. So I need to keep going almost. So yeah, I'm back here. I took some video of us touring around a little bit, so I'll probably put that at the end of this video. But it was extremely challenging to be at this funeral, and I just had never seen like a full honors before, and we were actually in the back doing a lot of stuff, and I was actually very thankful for that, so I couldn't actually see things, because what my mind likes to do is just visually replay everything, and that is just, it's really harmful for me. So I was actually really thankful that we were in the back of most everything, and so I couldn't actually see what was going on, and I was sitting there, I was like, thank you Lord so much. But it was just, I mean, he had full honors. He had the band there, he had the caisson with the horses, and so we started out, and then at the top of the hill, the casket switched from the hearse into the caisson, and then the Air Force band played, and his squadron got flown in. So someone at the last minute, I think it was one of the foundations for one of them, paid for his whole squadron to fly him in. So they were all there, and that was just amazing to see that. So they were all there. That's just a sight in themselves, because they are special, pretty much like special forces, and just to see that many special forces there it was just amazing. So they were there, and then it was nice because even though I couldn't see anything, everywhere I stood, I could actually see the family, which I've gotten like kind of a little bit close to during this whole process. So I was like, okay, like, you know, we're gonna be okay. So we switched, and then we drove to the gravesite, and that's when the chaplain gave his, like, he gives a little speech and everything, and he prays, and it was just phenomenal. Just so much about God, because my friend was all about God, and it's awesome to see a chaplain when he's just like, you know, I'm not gonna be PC about this. I'm gonna live out the faith that, you know, this person lives. And so it was a proud moment for me to see that. And then so the chaplain mainly did that part, and then his whole squadron came by the casket, and I think they actually took off of their berets. I think it was on their berets that they took something off of it, like their symbol or something, their badge. They took it off, and then like smacked it down on the or no, they put it in the casket, and then they smacked down the casket, like every single one, and then they saluted them. So that was a sight to see. But I was super thankful to be there and getting to see all that, and as hard as it was, I don't ever want to go back. I hope to never go back to Arlington for a funeral like that. It's really hard. So anyways, we went to the reception afterwards, and we're standing around, and this guy comes up to me, and he comes and shakes my hand. He's like, do you remember me? And I remember his eyes, but I don't remember anything else about him. I was like, I know your eyes look familiar, but I don't know who you are. And I'm really bad at not looking at people's names or their rank or anything. I'm so bad at it. So if I just looked down, I would have been able to see that he was a chaplain. But I looked at him, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I've had so many new faces in my life in the past couple of months. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I looked at that he had a cross on. I was like, oh, you're the chaplain. You're the chaplain that was down at Moody. So it was fun. It was just nice to see a friendly face. And so when I went down to Moody, the chaplains down there were just phenomenal, and I talked to him for a long time. So he said that at the last minute, there was no funding for the squadron to be flown up, and then there was funding, and he just recently became the chaplain for that AFSOC community, and and so he got to come up with them. So I just thought that was amazing, because this whole family and all of this, you know, all these people are coming up, and they're having this chaplain they've never met do his funeral service. So I thought it was amazing that they got to bring their chaplain with them, because that community is extremely tight-knit. So I thought that was so great. So I sat and talked to him for a long time, and like every time I see him, he's always like, so when do you get done? Because he's offered several times. He's like, please come and work for us. So I'm gonna email him when I go to drill this weekend and just be like, you let me know, and I'm gonna come volunteer whenever, because I would love to be a part of an AFSOC community. Love it. It would be amazing, but we'll see. And he was telling stories about how he was like, yeah, they keep wanting me to like jump out of planes, but I don't want to be strapped to somebody else. I was like, oh my gosh, pick me. I was like, I will do it. Like, please, I don't care if I'm strapped to anybody. But it was cool. You definitely get to do really cool stuff if you're a chaplain for that kind of a squadron. But we'll see if I get to go hang out with them sometime. It would be really cool. But it was really nice to talk to him. And then I actually ended up, I drove my car to the procession instead of parking and walking. And I was really hoping that we would be able to help somebody and drive them. We actually ended up not needing to really drive. It wasn't that far. We were walking. But I was like, you know what, God, like, I want to be able to help somebody while we're here. And so everybody's like, do you have walking? And I don't even know if people actually walked. I think most people drove. And one lady was like, I don't have a car. And so I instantly turned around and I was like, you got us. I was like, we got you. So we drove her, and it come to find out she's actually the best friend of my friend's mom. And that was crazy. I didn't know who she was, but it was my friend that passed, his mom's best friend. And so I loved, and it was an honor that I got to be like her chauffeur. And she came alone too, so and she only really knew the mom, so I told her, I was like, you hang out with us, whatever you need, you let us know. So that was really nice and cool to get to meet her, and then the family, getting to see them. And it was kind of funny, like I was waiting on the procession to start, and I went to the women's restroom, and I was sitting there, I was like, I know I'm gonna see the family in this bathroom. Like, I know it's gonna happen. And I like got out of the bathroom, and who walks in? Like the family. And I was like, oh, this is so awkward. I was like, I will see y'all later. Like, this is not, I was like, this is an awkward time to to see each other. So I was like, I will see y'all later at the reception. So I did, and it's really nice because his sister actually lives in the area, so she was like, please, like, we need to hang out. And I was like, yes. That would be amazing. So anyways, I'm back home, and I'll play some videos of after this of things that we did walking around. But just, I mean, there was chaplains again were just huge in this whole process for me. But I mean, even seeing like the Moody chaplain down there, and having, you know, a chaplain from my endorsement do the funeral, and then having a chaplain candidate let me stay at his house, and we actually met another chaplain candidate while I was up there. Just the chaplains were amazing part of it. But I think, you know, the biggest thing out of all of this is that God is still good. That's something that he keeps telling me, is no matter what happens, God, I am still good. And, you know, and I don't want to say his name, but my friend is up with the Lord, and he is partying, and he is, I know he's up there just being like, be so excited for me, because I am with my Father, and I've waited for this day my whole life. So that's why I keep reminding myself that the Lord is so good, and that's why my friend is up in heaven. And that he didn't get to, even though he was about to come home from being deployed, he probably would have up and deployed very soon after that. And those guys, the job that he does, they see a lot of bad things. So I just praise the Lord that his time of seeing even the worst of this world was very limited for him, and he came and he did his job, and he was known for his faith within his squadron, and that is just amazing and beautiful. And the Lord has told me since day one that I've known him, that knowing him is a blessing, and I just continued that through this whole thing, because I was very mad at first, and very confused about all of it. And I was like, God, why would you have me meet this man? Because I only knew him this past year, and I was like, why would you have me meet him and learn a lot about him and spend a lot of time with him? And God was like, this has still been a blessing for you, and it is still a blessing that you got to be in this man's presence. And so I fully understand that. And just even, you know, meeting his family has been a blessing also. So okay, I'm gonna end this video now because we're getting way too late into the timing. But thank you for all of y'all that have been praying for me. I know some of y'all sent me like comments and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. I handled everything a lot better than I thought I would. I did have a couple of minor breakdowns, but I handled it a lot better, and that is just truly accepting and trusting that God is good, and that he is involved with all of this. And my friend is just rejoicing in heaven, and he has won his prize, and just replaying that in my brain, and I will see him again, and I'm so excited to see him again. And I really just pray that my career in the Air Force is as fruitful in the spirit as his career was, even though you know, his career was cut short and his life was cut short, because he was not that much older than me. So anyways, okay, I'll stop this. Okay. enjoy the next couple of videos. I'll keep them really short because this has already been way too long of a video. But thank you again so much for your prayers. And yeah, please let me know at any time how I can pray for y'all. I do have my Instagram. That's the best way to get in contact with me, or comments if y'all ever have anything. And then yeah, so thanks for coming by. And I promise to start putting up not so like sad videos. But I'm just rejoicing that this season is almost over of grieving, even though, or of suffering. I do think there's a difference between grieving and suffering. I think grieving stays with you your whole life. The best way I understand it is it's like a puzzle piece that you can just never kind of find again. But suffering is very different. Suffering is probably what I've been feeling the past couple of months, but I'm ready to move on and you know, use my friend's life as a blessing and as a way to rejoice and be glad and you know, invest into my own walk with God the same way that he did. So anyways, okay, sorry, I'll stop. Here are the videos.
Hey! Hey! Forward! Off!
This is so pretty.
Yeah, I forgot how much you can see.
Yeah, I'm so amazed. Cause that's the Pentagon right there, right?
Pentagon is to, yep, to the right.
Oh, that's the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then straight ahead, you see that building with all the lights.
Right. Oh.
The Kennedy Center.
Oh.
And then Lincoln Memorial is right there.
Oh.
And then Washington Monument. And then
They just look so fascinating on the TV screen.
yeah.
And here they are.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Here they are.
I always love when like my GPS has me like reroute for traffic or something, and it has me go down Independence Avenue, which passes all the monuments.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, this is such a nice drive.
This is so crazy. And it's all together. I just never thought that this is where the president lives full time. What's in front of us?
Lincoln Memorial.
Oh.
Which has a bunch of scaffolding on it, so it's not as nice.
Huh. It's so big. When I'm the president of the Space Force, I'm gonna have a memorial like that. Is this a known little square thing? Is this?
I don't know what that one is.
Is that? Nope. Okay. Okay. Not important. Can basket.
That one just opened up.
Interesting. Do they also think it looks like Noah's Ark?
Awesome. Probably not. They probably won't acknowledge that.
How cool.
Yeah. So that one is one of the newest, and then
The African basket?
Bible just opened up.
The Museum of the Bible?
Yeah.
That's on the other side of town.
Yeah, that one.
Huh. Like, I wonder if somewhere in his diaries he's like, I want a pointy building in my honor that looks like a guard post for a prison.
Yeah.
Is it made out of special stone or anything, or is it?
It is, so, and then if you can see like a third of the way up, the stone changes.
Uh-huh.
Kind of.
Yeah, like the white.
So you've got white, and then it's kind of more tan.
Right.
So it's marble.
Okay.
Marble or granite, or limestone. I forget which one. Anyways, up to the line where it changes was what they started right before the Civil War started.
Oh.
And then they stopped construction because obviously the Civil War was going on.
Right, yeah.
And so then they finished it after the war, but by the time they got it started back up again,
Right.
the quarry that they were getting the stone from had shut down, so they
Oh.
had to change.
Wow. Okay, that's good history. I like history like that.
There's the White House.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if Donald's here.
Oh, I can't see it very well.
He just announced his Judge Brett Kavanaugh.
Is there a way to get closer to it?
So we can go across.
I feel like I could still throw something over it, you know?
I was just thinking that.
We can try to see the other side. I mean,
Yeah, we can try walking up and
They
going
might
to the
have-
other side.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's so long since I've been over here, I don't know. What's blocked off and what isn't.
Do people try to jump over because they want to go inside, or
People what?
specifically to kill
I don't know.
people?
No, it's not even to kill. They're usually just crazy.
They're usually crazy.
And like conspiracy theories.
Oh,
just trying to get attention. Or, you know,
A lot
draw
of them are
attention to
like
something.
legitimately like mentally
mentally
unstable.
There was one,
Huh.
what was it, 2 years ago? They actually got inside.
Ooh,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Obama was still president.
I remember that.
Yeah, they were. Secret Service was not too happy.
That's
We love hearing stories from our friend that's an agent here.
yeah.
Because his wife will tell us stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And a lot of the people that jump are like recurring offenders. Like they're the
Oh.
same people like
Wow.
go to jail for a little
Yeah,
bit,
they're
then they
gonna
get
jail,
out, and
they'll
then the
come
next year, a couple months later, they'll.
Let's do it again. This is your purpose in life, is to jump the fence. Look, they get to go on the fence. Let's make friends. Where's my cat card? Actually, I have no ID on me right now. It's all not with me. That's so crazy that they have a whole nother like wall up.
It wasn't like this not long ago.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah, it doesn't look like the same building.
It's really
Like from the
different.
front to the back. It's beautiful though. And they actually live inside, right?
Yeah.
I know it's a weird question, but
Yep.
I just wouldn't like opening up. I couldn't open up my curtains because there's like people everywhere.
Yeah, the residence is on the other side.
Oh,
the second
okay.
floor.
How wide is it?
Like,
Like not this, but like to the other side?
it's pretty, yeah.
Huh.
It's bigger inside than it looks.